Hey, how's it going? Got some cards that I'm gonna read for you. And can I just tell you about my day? Maybe you had something similar. I don't know what the heck was going on in the earlier part of the day, but I could see right away, every time I tried to do something, it did not want to work out the way it was supposed to, that it normally would. It was just bizarrely and extra infuriating, really, or confusing and exasperating. That's what I meant, not infuriating. Exasperating. I was like, what the? And then I had to stop myself and go, wait a minute, you know what's happening here? This is one of those times where things are trying to go wrong, and the way that I act, the way that I respond to the situation is going to set the tone for the way it follows through. So I put on the brakes and I said, get out of the exasperation and just calm TF down. And I just had to accept that, okay, I guess, I'm going to try to do stuff and it's not going to, I'm going to encounter resistance, I guess you could say. So, then once I did that, and it was just kind of just give up. Go with the flow, surrender, however you need to term it. You know, the point I reached was oh my God, I just give up, whatever. That also works. I've talked about this before, pulling these cards and talked about that very thing. So I guess I just outed myself. I am also not 100% on all of this stuff. But I righted my boat and had some smooth sailing. Actually, a really good day after that. And I had to marvel, wow, just looking back on all of the other times where I've just been all pulling the cord, or, pulling the thing out of the grenade and going crazy, and then your day blows up because you pulled the pin out of the grenade. So, it is, okay, that's just going to drive me nuts. Go there. Oh, 1 second. Is that water? Ah, of course it is. See? But a towel can dry. So, without going into any more detail, that's how today went. And yesterday, I actually made a video that I really liked, and it was all good, and I was doing a new thing with the cards where I have 2 lays, and they're from different decks, and it just worked out so nicely, and I was like, yay! And then my phone was like, oh, you're running out of storage space. I can't get it to, every time the thing updates, it has the uploading the content to the SD card. There's a different way to do it, and I have not encountered the way to do it until it just brings it to my attention. I can't preemptively take care of it. So anyway, made that video I was all happy with, good old video, and then my phone's all, you need more storage. And I looked at the video because I hadn't uploaded it yet. I was waiting. I'm gonna stop doing that, because every time I do, I lose it because I forget it, that it's there. But I looked at it, when I was cleaning the files and whatever. I was like, okay, that's what I'm wearing right now. Don't get rid of that one. And then I forgot and got rid of it. It was like, damn it. So, fingers crossed for this reading. But, okay, so what happened? One of the things that I was talking about in the reading was that I had washed my hair. This was yesterday, and so it looks like it's very much shorter. I did not get a haircut, if you've seen other videos. it is just, it is dry. Like, it does take a long time for my hair to get completely dry, but it has been raining and I was outside. And so it's just all, we just want to be curly. So, hi. But, oh, I was in the store with my new caregiver, and he's white, so I don't know how he missed this, but we got back from the store, and we had been numerous places. Like, I had a dentist appointment, and there's other people at those places, and the store, many stores. I get home and go to the bathroom and look in the mirror, and my hair is going 30 different directions. And I was like, has my hair been like this all day? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, you have to tell me. It's not supposed to be just sticking up any which way. I wondered why people were looking at me in the store. Like, I'd say something to somebody and they'd answer me, but they'd look at me funny, and I didn't know. I don't, like, I do look in the mirror when I'm getting ready to go. And I don't know how it got like that. It looked like it, when I changed my shirt from, like, my pajama, it looked like when you pull off your shirt. But then I put on another shirt, like, I would hope that would have brought it back down. But, anyway, so that was, yay. Can I just say that in politics, for example, the ability to have that kind of realization that you were outdoors all day thinking everything was normal and nobody, it was like having a spinach in your teeth or a giant booger in your eye or in your nose all day and nobody told you. I can't believe nobody... I didn't see any black people, though. Certainly, if I would have seen another black person, they would have been, excuse me, what is going on with your hair? Here, let me help you. Like, they know. Like, that ain't right. Like, it was over here, and what, like, I looked like a cartoon explosion happened on my head. But getting back to what I was saying, in politics, it is probably a plus to be able to laugh at yourself in such a way, instead of being so uptight that even things that are not insults you take offense to and are crazy. So I'm just saying, the ability to laugh at yourself can take you a long way. Okay, so what do we got going here in the way of cards? Oh yes, so I meditated before I came in here. I'd already pulled the cards. The other thing I want to say about that other reading that I lost is the same thing that I did here that I've had on my mind, which was the teachings in metaphysics often tell you, like if you watch things on YouTube or I assume TikTok as well, there are a lot of people and videos and whatever advising you on awakening and this and that. So they often say to go outside and like hug a tree or sit next to one or just in some way physically connect with nature, like put your feet on the grass barefoot or dirt or whatever you got on the ground, like just with as little between your foot and the actual earth as possible. And so, and yeah, that is definitely fulfilling, like, or refilling even, like refreshing. And it can just totally, like, shift, like downshift or whatever, lateral shift, I don't know, but you can have a shift of some sort. Definitely. And it helps if you are receptive to that, if that is what your intent for doing it, like going out there and making contact. That helps. It makes it all like, receptivity is everything. Like if you're just open to stuff, if you're open to stuff, doors open. So I've had like the outside on my mind a lot, like animals and everything. So and it's where I usually meditate, is either completely I just go outside and sit out on the grass and do it, or I'm out on my deck. So, I was just thinking about how I've been like running to it, kind of like anytime I'm feeling kind of bad because of a thing that they advise you also in the metaphysical teachings not to keep doing so much of, and that is a lot of time in front of one of these screens. I have been weaning myself down, having less time doing that. And what I'm doing in the meantime, if I'm not like reading or just doing something else, is I'll be out there meditating. And so I've just been feeling all sentimental and like lovey-dovey with that experience. And I just started thinking about, we are connected with the planet, even though it didn't like literally physically spit us out of a hole somewhere. Our components, our composition is made from stuff that's all over on here. And yes, some of it came out of space. I don't want to exclude that because people always leap on me if I don't mention the star stuff. But hi, the planet is made of that. Do you know how planets form? Yeah, it's made of all of that stuff. So it's here too. Anyway, we have a very deep and strong connection that I don't know how much people consider those things that I was bringing up about the connection. And it's like, I think, similar to when, don't get me wrong, I'm not an atheist. I don't think stuff just happened and it was just blah. I think stuff just happened and something caused it to happen. You can call it God or whatever. I say this fairly frequently. You can call it whatever you want. I think God just cares if you call it. And so I'm not an atheist. I'm just like anti-religion. Organized religion, industrialized religion. I think it sucks. It messes with our psyches. It's a control lever. It teaches you that things are bad that are not bad. And so if you don't already have some form of like against a lot of religion, and you just like, okay, I can't relate to that. Like I have to question like everything. That's just me. But what I'm saying is I think that connecting with the earth is a lot like connecting with the source material of a source or God or spirit, whatever, however you want to address the entity or the being. Pick a moniker. Like I said, I don't think it cares. It just cares about the connection. So, I guess what I'm getting at is that it is kind of all the same. Like, it's all part of it, like I say a lot. So then I was thinking about, like, war and stuff, like, I started thinking about how we hurt each other, and then we don't realize that to hurt someone else is ultimately gonna hurt you back. You may not recognize it as such when it happens, but the world we live in is reciprocal. Like, there's no reaction. There's no action without some sort of reaction or response somewhere else. Or, I don't know, maybe it's local. I'm just saying, it happens. And you might not necessarily discern that, but there's always a response, a reciprocation. So, and then from there, I was like, okay, well, then we're just like making the decision to fight each other in wars and like using chemical weapons and bombs and things. But we're not just hurting us, we're also like damaging the earth, like if we're blowing it up. And oh, by the way, the other things that happen to live there, like the woodland creatures and the domestic animals and all of it, like, hi, what are you doing? And then in the wars, like, they don't show us the guns that they want to just flood the streets with, the long guns, the automatic weapons. They tell us that they're shooting up the schools, but they don't tell you what it looks like in the aftermath of being shot by those things. And that they came from war. They are war weapons. And on the streets, in a discos, nobody having a war in there that requires a gun. Like, if you don't like it, don't go there, It's less about, like, the sexuality thing and more just about, like, hurting the other person, the other intelligent beings walking around amongst you. Like, that's... No can relate. So, that's just kind of what I was thinking about before I pulled the cards yesterday. And I was still thinking about it because I was just out there, and right before it got, like, completely dark, I could see on the blackberry bush bramble, like, right across from me on the other side of the fence, is losing its leaves, and all over the branches that are just sort of looping all over are droplets of water clinging to it. And I've been trying to take a picture, and they're on the grass too, and the grass is very deep green and beautiful and vibrant, and on the blackberry bush the droplets are just sparkling. And I've tried to take a picture so many times, and I should try it with this camera because I've been doing it with the Apple, and it's just not picking it up at all that they're there. Like, it's just not picking up the droplets at all. And it's so beautiful, and I'm just like, I mean, don't mess that up. It can happen again. Like, it's gonna rain again, but I don't know. That was on my mind. So, okay, here's some cards. So from the Messages of Cosmic Oracle deck, here's this one that, oh my gosh, it's very much explosive looking. It doesn't look like there's anyone there. I hope they weren't. There was no one there. Let's just go with that. It's in space anyway, so I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of space in space. Stuff's not really close together, like, at all. There's a lot of space in space, so there's probably no one around nearby to get burned by this. Anyway, it says, you must forgive if you want to be free. Do it for yourself. Ooh, somebody's having a big old fight. So here's something else. Almost forgot this because this was the other part, and I think it kind of connects. You don't have to do a lot of work to make the connection between forgiveness and what was the other one? Shoot. We'll start with that. To yourself, to each other, with the forgiveness. And that is something that, again, like, I don't think we look at it as deeply as we could as a function, because when we do something to somebody else, it is easier to forgive them once we do the even harder thing, which is forgive ourselves for doing whatever we did to them in the first place. And then you can, like, honestly and sincerely apologize to that person. So forgiveness and what was the other word? Oh my God! Come on, it was in my head when I started talking about it. It'll come to me. So the corresponding card below from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck is the number 62 card, and it's Will-O-the-Wisp. The subtitle says, Treasures Hidden in the Shadows. So as you can see, there's like a face there, and it looks surrounded by sort of butterfly wings and leaves and mist and I don't know, maybe even little fairy type things. Like, well, what is this little person up here? And this little critter and this little person. Like, they just sort of look like little people, animal or something. But they're wisps. They're like foggy, misty wisps. That suggest solid things. But also says the subtitle is Treasures Hidden in the Shadows, and when the light is not the best, like it looks like it's nighttime here, and the wisp somehow is glowing, which when I've seen it, it hasn't been blue like this, but if you see that outside at night, the moonlight does give a certain illumination to it, and it looks a certain way because it's being refracted through this fog or this mist, but it's actually like really beautiful and atmospheric. Getting lost. But yeah, Treasures in the Shadows, that kind of says it all. Oh, okay, so like in connection with forgiveness, in connection with forgiveness, when you can forgive someone else, it's like open mind opening doors, you know, because really what's done is done. Why not forgive? Like, why just make yourself baggage to drag around forever? Forgive. You must forgive if you want to be free of the attachment of the guilt. You know, like, forgive yourself, and then doors open for you too. Okay, so the next card is the next card from the Messages of Cosmic Oracle deck. I'm not going to keep reading them. I'm just going to go with the top card from now on. So it reads, check in. Oh, here. Take a look at that. Okay, so that's interesting that there's this little tiny body walking around in this giant space. And then here's what it says. Check in with your body and release any tension you are carrying. So I wonder if this is like a correspondent with the thing I was talking about in the reading that didn't make it with the, or maybe I talked about it in one that did make it, but I had read somewhere that indigenous tribes or tribe, I don't know which one, because it was a while ago. Just let me finish. Some indigenous tribal members that were men, when they were like anxious or like really frustrated or angry, and they wanted to direct the energy productively and not like at somebody that didn't deserve it or something, they would go screaming to a hole in the ground, and that was like giving it to mama to take away from you, and it wouldn't hurt her to take it from you, and like it's just like her joy to be there to do that for you, so you don't do something else like blow up a nuclear bomb or something stupid like that and really hurt her and you and everybody around it for miles, for thousands of years, and even damage the next dimension, because the ETs say that is why they don't want us doing that, other than the obvious reasons that they hurt us here for longer than memory. It actually reverberates out into other dimensions and does damage there, and we're already ugly Americans. Do we have to be ugly, like, dimensional neighbors? Because that's just ridiculous. Come on, us. Let's get it together. So, it is good to productively release your tension, and I was just wondering if this is like a version of screaming into the hole. This dude's just in the hole. I don't know what the acoustics are like in there, but it looks like it would really hurt if you weren't wearing, ear coverings or covering your ear once you start yelling, because echoes, oh my god. This is the crossing the number 54 card. So 9. 9 usually is like you're at completion. And initiation suggests that, I could take it as entering an initiation, but I could also take it as exiting one, like having completed the course of study, whatever. And that's interesting that the initiation came here after the forgive yourself and then the finding the treasures in the shadows. Because, if you've done something that requires forgiveness, there was a little bit of shadow happening there, I think. And the treasure is that the experience has been had, and when you go back and recall it, you will see like whatever good can be mined from it. Oh, there's a pocket there. So it's probably frontwards. Okay, here's the next. Uh-oh. Hi, I have the thing that's not really a thing to do the thing. Again. Okay, so this one. Once again, like, stuff is just not actually that close together. Because think about it, like, things have their own gravities and such, like, that's too close. Like, it would just be like, it'd be like marbles. Like, shooting marbles. Oh, do people still know what that even is? Look it up. This one reads, your life is so special. Treat it with loving care. Learn how to work it too, though. Like, learn how to use, like, I wouldn't suggest that you do this on purpose, but sometimes we do things and we kind of know what we're doing, and we kind of know that it's not going to lead to a good thing, which is not the same as doing something intentionally and knowing what you're doing and what's going to happen because you did it, because you want to experience that all the way from start to finish, even if it's not like a great thing to have done that comprises the experience. Like, it could have been like a bad thing that you decided to do just to see what's going to happen. And that sounds frivolous and like you don't give a crap about what you're doing, but that's not what I mean, because you're doing it for the experience, not to be the jerk of the experience, if that's what you end up doing in the experience, like as part of it. Oh my god, yum. It's not cola, it's not any kind of soda. Okay, so your life is so special. Treat it with loving care. I think, in light of what I was just saying, you want to include the experiences on all of the levels and appreciate them. And the difference between, like, doing something deliberately with intent and doing it knowing what's going to happen and then having, like, feelings like it's going to hurt somebody or you're going to feel good because it's hurting somebody, like that kind of thing, fear column, no good. However, if it's like more of like you're clinically examining what's happening and hopefully you're not causing something that's going to, like, hurt people and cause a bunch of problems. Like, sometimes it just happens. Or sometimes you can say something that you know is going to irritate, but it's right and true, and so like you just have to weather what happens, because people will get over stuff, especially when it's not like at the level of killing their dog that they love or something like that. You know, like keep it kind of insignificant, I guess. And so to my way of thinking, like, eventually you learn that doing stuff for ill-gotten gains is not a good idea. It just doesn't end up working out. Like those days where you try to do stuff and it just doesn't work out because it's just gonna screw up. Like sometimes those are the days that happen. Okay, so the below cards are number 26. One of my favorite little subjects there is mushrooms. That is sounding like you may be able to hear it, so I'm just going to lower the volume. Okay, gathering around is the type, whatever. It said the gathering around card. The subtitle reads "The Power of Community." So, one of these here, a little mycelium nation, they're all very interconnected and hive mind-like sort of situation. But not in a... Like, you can see the cordyceps on, like, the grasshoppers, and that looks really terrible and scary, and I hope it isn't for the bug. But for some reason, that quirk of nature developed and continues, so there must be a reason for it. Like maybe we just don't understand it, and it looks horrible and terrible to us, to our sensibilities, but maybe there's something going on there that we just don't even understand. That could very well be the case. And so these colonies do exist, and they contribute so much to the atmosphere, I think, as far as the air is concerned, because of whatever they're doing to below the soil, below the level of this topsoil, is like intrinsic to it spreads so far over the whole planet, and it seems to have sort of a mind of its own, like a hive mind, but it's really only been capturing grasshoppers. It's not like that The Last of Us show. So we don't even need cordyceps to act like crazy killers. We already know how to do that. But the power of community, like that kind of, strikes a chord right now, because we need to look to each other for help since our government is failing us. Although, as I speak, that we're supposed to get our food stamps, everyone that receives them, for November, which is, there's a holiday, pretty big holiday. Families come and travel to be together for this annual day. And so there's people need their food stamps so they can buy food to feed all the people, and for the rest of the month and whatever. Like, you just need it to eat. And so there's, as usual, there's people that think that like you should just go without, when like no one is prepared like on the day with no prior notice to go without, like with holiday or not. Like people are not ready for that. And then you hear people saying, well, why don't you just like leave it to the charities and the food banks? Well, guess what? Those are already there. If they could do the job, we wouldn't need food stamps, would we? So shut up with that. That is deliberately, it's wrong. And so that is not supporting the community. That is actively hurting the community. That's making a decided effort to hurt the community. And redemption will come, because that's just the way it works. It's not religion. It's not about God. It's about the give and take of the universe. So, but what's important is the power of community, and the power of growing and doing it together and not being predatory or transactional about it with each other. Like, all's fair trade, and or not even like sharing. Like, yeah, the trade's gonna happen, but more in the way of barter than like free trade or any of those economic terms that are going so well all the time, because it makes a lot of sense for a portion of society to be doing really well, and then another whole big chunk of it, like a way oversized from the other part in comparison chunk that doesn't have jack in comparison. Is like, and then the other guys over here, yeah, well, you could have more, but we don't think you need it. Like, we think it's fine if you're, you don't have what you need. So, what we want, what would work better for the majority, because majority should be ruling, not the other way around like it is. We're in that topsy-turvy world, and it's crazy. But because the extremes have gotten so extreme, we're forced to do what we should have been doing all along because we could, and we set the tone for the world, not like a minority of us with the money. Like, at any moment, the rest of us, the community, can be like, that's not doing us any good. We don't want to do it that way anymore. We have to change everything now. And that's, I think, what we're doing. So, yay us. The next top card is, oh my. There seems to be a collision happening there. I told you, this stuff is too close together in this not very spacious space. The card reads, speak up and speak out. Let your voice be heard loud and clear. If now's not the time, I don't know when is. Like, we can't just be a community of conformists. Because look how unhappy people are. And by the way, like, as far as, like, back to the food stamp thing, the SNAP, the nutrition assistance. Hi, corporations, if you don't want to pay us anything, so we can't pay rent, but you hate homeless people, why are you making homeless people? If you don't want us to need food stamps, if you don't want us to eat, you just want us to go out and starve, and you just want, like, starving people laying around dying? Is that what you want? Or, like, corporate people, did you not see when people can't afford stuff's not going to get bought? Like, where's your profit going to go? You gotta, like, live within, like, a means that makes sense. Like, and you guys act like everybody else, the wealthy people act like everybody else is just slutting around and nobody's doing work and no one's worth a damn. It's like, really? And you still wanting to fly on the planes that all of those people are doing the work on, and you still want to eat the food and stay at the hotels and on and on and on. It's like, are you high? Are you okay? So, let your voice be heard loud and clear. Here's my contribution. Guys, you're blowing it. What are you doing? You're hurting yourselves even. So this is a number 18 card. Eyes of the Eagle. Hi, it's an eagle. Eyeballing you. Oh, that's a pretty ornate eye thing. It's got like I think a cockle shell. Oh, remember that delicious tiny bite eagle? I don't know what the heck that is. Some sort of salmon hat equivalent. Eyes of the Eagle, and the subtitle is Rising Above the Fray. So, while you're doing this raising of your voice and speaking out, remember, there are a lot of people that are not trying to hear that. And so, I think this was the other thing that I couldn't remember the word for. What we're doing with the resistance and then the other people that always have something bad to say about everybody else and that are shipping people out of the country whether they should be or not, they lack empathy. That is a choice that they have made. It's not like it can be surgically removed. You can just decide that you're not going to be ashamed of your behavior, and you can decide to just be cold and heartless. The opposite is harder, actually. You don't believe me? Try not being that way. Try being more generous and try being nicer and try being grateful. Gratitude. That was the other word. Gratitude and forgiveness, because the people that are suffering right now and being made to endure the whims of rich people who are so out of control with the control that they're just like, they're crazy. Like, they hate you every which way, but they do nothing but contribute to the very things they hate about us. And yet they need us to maintain their standard of living. And I think that we need to step back and get a higher vantage point on just what the dynamics really are, because there's more of us than there are of them. I've been saying it for years. I've been saying, don't show up. Like, forget about boycott. How about everybody just doesn't show up for work in as many places that will consent to do it that are not. Like, there's going to be people in hospitals. There's going to be people at fire stations. There's going to be people in the police stations. You know, like, whether they're contributing or not, if they are contributing, then even better that they're staying in their job. Because we being us, we need a little bit of policing. Not what's happening right now that's going nuts with the people doing it that are not even police, actually. They're just like Joe Blow off the street, and a lot of them have criminal records and what have you, and yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, if you're paying attention to it, you may well already be aware of what I'm talking about. If you're not, good for you, but if you're not and you're actually kind of curious, please, you can just take anything I've said and go search it and find the answers to whatever I was talking about. I hope. close to it. But anyway, yes. We need to have a higher perspective as the general public, because what's being done to us isn't fair, especially since, really, like, historically, the people that did the work was not the wealthy people. They had people doing the work for them. Let's keep our perspective, too. Like, we got our glasses to make sure our vision is completely clear on these matters, because it's important. We have to think not about just ourselves. We also have to think about the people that kind of put us all in these positions, because it's not going to do us any good to go back and be mean and cruel to them for how they were acting. My impulse is to remember, like, a child when they act that way, and they can be very mean vocally at a very young age. Like, we learn real fast to be a dick, and they'll get so mad that they'll, like, think of an overtired child that needs to pass out, but they're so mad and locked into crying and being mad that they have to go to bed. They'll cry and then pass out of exhaustion, when they didn't really need to go through all of that. Like, everybody was just like, just go to bed and everything will be cool. You're tired. You know you're tired. Why are you fighting it? See, that's resistance. Just causes problems. Makes you cause problems. So, let me just hammer it home one more time. Let's get a perspective and hold on to it and not freak out about what's being done to us, because we can put a stop to it. All we have to do is just decide to not show up, and then nothing that they want to use against us will work. And then nothing that normally works for them and fills their coffers will work. No work means no money. It's not rocket science. So, I mean, it makes people fearful, but it can be planned for. Like, it can all be, they can know all about it. Plan it openly. Because at any point, they can stop acting like jerks, and none of retaliation response would be necessary. Here's another guy in a big hole. So, yeah, just get a look at it. I noticed last time, I'm using the same cards as I did from the Lost reading. So last time I noticed that this guy is standing on, it kind of looks like steps, but they're very flat, so maybe it's like a pier. But he's on the edge of stepping, he's on like a threshold, and he's on the edge of stepping into this portal where, I don't know, I can't make out anything in there. It looks like traveling through hyperspace or something, but it is definitely not this side of this portal. Like, something's going on over there that is not happening over here. You gotta let go there. So this card reads, stop ruminating over what you did or didn't do. Let it go. That takes me right back to the forgiveness and the forgiving yourself, because this is what happens when you don't forgive yourself. You go all this way, go through all this stuff, finally go through the point where you're going to be the initiate. You're ready, like you've crossed the bridge. You're ready to step through to the next stage. Look, there's a portal on here too. See? It's even got Will-o'-the-Wisp coming out of it. So, forgive yourself. Don't let it hold you back. It looks like they're experiencing a little doubt, maybe a little fear. Understandable, but now is not the time to hesitate. Now is not the time to wait around. Now's the time to join with the community and put a stop to what's going wrong. And I just want to stipulate here, I started to say it and then I, of course, got sidetracked, but what we're doing with the loud resistance and the marching, that feels really good. There's another way, and we can all do it, and it doesn't even require anyone to go anywhere, buy a sign, make a sign. You just have to go to your meditation place and make that something that's a part of you when you're passively meditating, sitting still, or if you're doing something like even if it's just vacuuming. When you're vacuuming, you have like regular movements, you have that regular droning sound, and it is kind of hypnotic in a way, and you just find yourself in this sort of different place, this different state of mind, and like you could be doing that, and then some problem that you've been trying to find an answer to just falls into place, because it's almost like when you go to sleep, when you say you'll make a decision after you sleep on it. When you're like in active meditation, it's kind of like the same thing. Your whole physical self is kind of preoccupied with what it's doing, and you get there, you get to what I call the zone more probably frequently and with regularity if you're doing something that you like doing. Like if you're cycling, if you're bicycling, cycling if you like to do that, or exercising in any way, or cooking, or knitting, just whatever activity sort of consumes you. And then if you also enjoy it, there's even more receptivity and openness to whatever's going to come through those corresponding opening doors. Like the answer to the question that you couldn't find. So, I guess I'm done talking about that. So here's the number 40 card, last one, and it's mindful. Not mindful. 2 words, mindful. Groupthink. So this has like a negative connotation, and I could see how you might want to immediately go with that, considering the times. Like, they do feel quite Orwellian. It's almost comical how Orwellian they are, and also because the people performing them all seem to have like some level of Dunning-Kruger. It's kind of kooky, but it's what we got, so we'll just have to like get through it the best we can, instead of like going nuts and getting mad and trying to fight it. Like, that's gonna work against you. Like, you really gotta kind of submit to the reality that things are all kind of screwy right now. So this groupthink, I'm thinking, is the one that we have to achieve that I was just talking about, like the everyone getting together as a community of more of us than them. Although, again, that's kind of the dynamic that I don't want to be using, because I'm not in a fight. Because, yes, things that feel unjust and, you know, you're righteously indignant about, we can't forget how we're just acting this out. This is not real reality. So, like I said, you can, if you get killed in this dream, you will die. However, you will wake up like in the afterlife, and you can start a whole new dream again. So when you think of it in those terms, it's not that scary for me. But you know, I mean, that wasn't instantaneous. That took some getting there to get to. So this is just like a lot of things that remind me or make me think of like memories. So maybe happy memories, and then like, oh look, there's a key hole, and wait, there's probably a key on here somewhere. But that just made me think of what I was saying, like when you, God, what was I talking about when I said it? It was like unlocking something in yourself. I didn't specifically say it that way, but that's what I meant. And now I can't remember what I was referring to. But, you know, it's also, like with the group thing, it's just also a lot of, like, what everybody else has in their mind, like what they bring to the group from their minds. And it's like a lot of it would be what you want. Like, there's a pretty flower, there's a treasure chest, I don't know, some of this, there's a time clock. Well, there's a big green pyramid, I can't miss that. And there's other, like, I'm not even sure, some sort of technical object looking things. But the point is, it's like this jumble on here that I feel like represents this very large community. And since we're just now being this community, becoming the community, because we weren't always a community in that way. Like, we were all Americans, or we were all, which is such and such race branch of Americans, but all together, I think this is what it might feel like. And that type of community, to work together for the common good, we do that like in sporadically, like in infrequent bursts. So we're not used to that, but like the form of like of passive resistance is when everyone is meditating and calming their minds as a group. That is more powerful. Like for yourself, it's powerful. If you do it with a bunch of other people, that like exponentially increases the power. And then the intent of the meditation, like for peace in the Middle East or in Ukraine, the more people directing their thought, hold on. The more people directing their energy to that thought of like, put your weapons down, help your fellows, stop fighting the war, go back to your family, rebuild your home, ignore the one that's telling you to shoot at each other, like tell him, go get shot. But all of us thinking good thoughts, and here's another hard one we have, but sending each other love. Not romantic love, but like, stay alive. I love you, man. Like, I love this part of the jumble that's you. Stay around. We want you, We need you. I feel like that's what that is talking about. So, one of my candles went out, and so it's making that after candle smell is choking me. So I'm gonna go. Thank you and good night.